Shabbat shalom, everyone. All right. You're not hearing me at all, are you? I think we're still on movie setting. That's what we're going to do. We're going to see if that's the deal. Hold on a second. There we go. All right. Now we're on the okay setting here. All right. Well, Shabbat shalom, everyone, now that you can hear me. And we'll begin on page 128. In the middle of the page. Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Mishavdecha eretzonecha, Mishavdecha, la 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 Ritzonecha Yarutz Avdecha Kemo Ayam Yishtachavei la 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 El Muhadarecha Yedid Nefesh Av harachaman, Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Mishavdecha eretzonecha, Mishavdecha la 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 eretzonecha. Yarutz Avdecha Kemo Ayam Yishtachavei la 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 El Muhadarecha. The very top of the page. Hine matov umanayim Shevet achim gam yachad, Hine matov umanayim, Shevet achim gam yachad, Hine matov, Shevet achim gam yachad, Hine Shevet achim gam yachad, Hine matov umanayim, Shevet achim gam yachad, Hine matov umanayim, Shevet achim gam yachad. On page 120, We find the blessing for lighting our Shabbat candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. As we turn to page 130, we begin to welcome in Shabbat with the words of Kabbalat Shabbat, the words that come to us from the book of Psalms. Come, let us sing joyfully to God and raise a shout for our rock and the one who redeems us. Lechu neranina, neranina ladonai. Lechu neranina, neranina ladonai. Come, let us sing a song to Adonai. Come, let us sing a song to Adonai. Lechu neranina, neranina ladonai. Lechu neranina, neranina ladonai. Naria litzur yishenu, nekadma fana bitoda. Naria litzur yishenu, bizmirot narialo. Lechu neranina, neranina ladonai. Lechu neranina, neranina ladonai. Page 131. Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash, sing to God a new song. Shir Adonai, Kol Haaretz, let all of the earth sing to God. Shiru Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Ladonai. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Adonai, Shir Chadash. As we turn to page 132 from Psalm 97, 4 lines from the bottom of the Hebrew, and it's also 4 lines from the bottom of the English on page 133. Light is sown for the righteous and radiance for the upright. May we all be righteous and upright people so that we have light and radiance at all times in our world. Or Zarua Latzadim Uyishrei Letzimcha. Or Zarua Latzadim Uyishrei Letzimcha. Or Zarua Latzadim Uyishrei Letzimcha. Uyishrei Letzimcha. Or Zarua Latzadim Uyishrei Letzimcha. Uyishrei Letzimcha. Lai 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 Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Or Zarua, Lat Sadiq, Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Lat Sadiq, Yishrei Lev Simcha. We'll turn together to page 135. The last three lines of Psalm 99. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down at God's holy mountain. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu, because holy is Adonai our God. Romemhu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemhu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Let's read together on page 136 and 137. Psalm 29, it speaks of God's power in the universe. A psalm of David. Ascribe to Adonai, O divine beings. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name. Bow down to Adonai, majestic in holiness. The voice of Adonai is over the waters. The God of glory thunders, Adonai over the mighty waters. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. God makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Sirion like a young wild ox. The voice of Adonai kindles flames of fire. The voice of Adonai convulses the wilderness. Adonai convulses the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of Adonai causes hinds to calve and strips forest bare. While in God's temple all say glory. Adonai sat enthroned at the flood. Adonai sits enthroned sovereign forever. May Adonai grant strength to God's people. May Adonai bestow on God's people well-being. Page 138. We welcome in the image of the Shabbat bride with the words of Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi bikrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi bikrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'livkila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechuven elcha, Ki hi mekor habracha, Mirosh mikeden nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Verse number 5. It'oreri, kiva ore, kumi ori, uri, shedaveri, kivod Adonai alayhi nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. We rise, we face the door. We welcome in the image of the Shabbat bride to bring us into this time of peace. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha uv'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. And while we're standing, we've greeted the Shabbat bride. We'll greet each other. So turn to all the people around you and wish everyone Shabbat Shalom. And for those of you on YouTube and those of you on TempleShalom.com live, Shabbat Shalom to all of you, and welcome to all of you as well. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Page 140. We'll continue with Psalm 92, a psalm of Shabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. It is good to give thanks to God. Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, and to sing of God's name most high. Mizmor shir liyom haShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir liyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. V'hagi baboker chastecha, ve'emunatecha ba'leilot, alei asor ve'alei navelalei, higayon v'chiyot. Mizmor shir liyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Ki simachtani Adonai b'fo'olecha, b'ma'aseh yadecha aranin. Ma gadlu ma'asecha Adonai me'od, amku machshevotecha. Mizmor shir liyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. We make our way into our Ma'ariv service, page 144, with the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkada v'yitkadash shemei rabba, Yamad yivrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala, uv'izman kariv, v'yimeru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach, Le'alam u'lam me'almaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitbar, Yitroman, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shmei Dukudisha Barichu, Le'elam en Koberchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Dahamiron Be'alma, V'yimeru, Amen. We rise for Baruch Hu, page 146. Lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. We can be seated. We give thanks for creation. We'll read together at the top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the ways on which time and seasons glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim, page 150. We give thanks for the gift of Torah, for all of its lessons, for its pathways through our life. Praise to you, Adonai, who gives us the Torah with love. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu B'shochveinu u'v'kumeinu Nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hein chayenu be'orech yameinu u'vahem neheke yomam ve'layla. Let's read together on page 151, right in the middle of the page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Page 152 and 153 will join together in the words of Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed, Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, V'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha, u'v'chol me'odecha, V'hayu advarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'divarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, uv'shartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'hisharecha, leman tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Amen. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us, that you alone are our God and we are your people Israel. You are our sovereign, the one who saves us, who delivers us from oppressors. Emet ve'emunah, these words at the top of page 156. Emet ve'emunah, emet ve'emunah, emet ve'emunah, kol zot ve'kayam aleinu, emet ve'emunah, kol zot. Ki hu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'ein zulato, va'anachnu Yisrael, Yisrael Amo. Emet ve'emunah, emet ve'emunah, emet ve'emunah, kol zot ve'kayam aleinu, emet ve'emunah, kol zot. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all the children of Israel sang these words to you together, lifting their voices joyfully at the song of the sea, as they sang of their freedom, as we do too on page 158, the very top of the page. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, o seifelech, o seifelech. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, o Seifele, O Seifele, Malchutecha, Ra'u Vanecha, Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe uMiriam, Ze Eli, Anu ve'omru, Adonai Yimloch le'olam va'ed, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. On page 160, we ask God to lie us down in peace, to cause us to rise up again tomorrow to life, to protect us as we sleep through the night. And as it says on the third line of the psalm, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, and spread over us a shelter of your peace. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat, sukat shlomecha. Yalai, lai, lai, yalai, lai, lai, yalai, lai, 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 yalai, lai, lai, yalai, lai, lai, yalai, lai, lai, yalai, lai, 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 ufros aleinu sukat, sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, praise to you Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, the one who spreads out the shelter of peace, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, over us and over all your people Israel, ve'al Yerushalayim, and over Jerusalem. Page 162. This comes from right in the midst of the section of the Torah that we've been reading these last few weeks. God is giving instructions to Moses to bring down the mountain to us. And on multiple occasions, God reminds Moses, tell the people the importance of Shabbat. And does so with this reminder here of the Shamru on page 162. Ve, I don't like that key, I like this key better. Ve, that's a much better key, I like that much so much better. Ve, Shamru, V'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot, et ha-Shabbat, l'dorotam berit olam. V'Shamru, V'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot, et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. V'nu vein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. U'vayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vash Veshamru Bnei Israel Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Lidorotam B'Ridolam Veshamru Bnei Israel Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Lidorotam B'Ridolam. Yeah, that was better in B flat minor than C minor. I think that's what God said to Moses on the top of Mount Sinai. You will sing this song in the key of B flat minor because it just goes so well with the words. Page 164. We'll all rise for our Amidah as we take our time to pray together as a group and then pray together as individuals gathered together. We'll sing the first few paragraphs of the Amidah together and then take time for our own silent prayers, our own conversations with God. Page 164. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah, Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach, Umarid Haga Hashem, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Vishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Mimi Tu Mechaye, Umat Miach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah Lachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol, Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yahalelucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue 172 and 173 through 188 and 181 silently with the prayers that you find in your own heart. When you finish with your silent prayer, please be seated and then we'll come back together then. Page 178, prayer for peace. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. B'tov be'einecha libarek et Amcha Yisrael, bechol heit ubechol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. We take a moment to think of those who are in need of healing. We ask for God to bring refuah shlema, complete healing, to Genendel bat Sima, Fran Hart, Aharon ben Abraham, Stanley Sachs, Lisa Stark, Rose Dymek, Lucas Bartelt, Janice Broder, Malka Batsara, Lisa Lead, Merle Haber, Shoshana Batilana, Barala Yaakov ben Abraham Shalom, Lynn Severson, Susan Schenk, Ruvain ben Shlomo Mordechai ben Tzipora, Rachel Howell, Trudy Ishbitz-Brodsky, David Zimmerman, Kathy Twerdock, Jeannie Tischler, Bob Lead, Charlie Sumners, Cheryl Ness, and Sue Mullen. Do we have any others? Names for healing? We'll start on this side. Any names for healing on this side? Thank you. Any on this side of the room, names for healing? Thank you. Any others? For all those that we've named and for all those in need, page 371, we ask for God's blessing for healing for each and every one of them. Misheberach avoteinu mikor habracha leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Nisheberach imoteinu mikor habracha avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. this week, Moses comes down the mountain and talks to us about the truma. We had previously, Moses destroyed the tablets and such, and now all is forgiven, and we're ready to build the tabernacle in the desert. And God comes down the mountain and says, bring all of your truma. I'm putting this back on because my hand hurts. The doctor said I'm not allowed to play the guitar. I'm breaking doctor's orders. So Moses comes down the mountain and says, bring your truma. And we all say, what's truma? And that's the key to this week's Torah portion. 7 times in this week's Torah portion, it uses the word teruma. And what is teruma? Well, it means gifts, but not really. But really. And it's because the word has, through time, it's kind of changed its meaning a bit. You know, when Lisa and I got married, people said, like you do for all weddings, you know, what do you want for your wedding? What's on the wedding register? Where are you registered? Because we're going to buy you stuff. And we said, we have stuff. We got married. We weren't 18. We were a little older than that. We were in our 30s. And we said, I've got dishes and she's got dishes. And I've got knives and she's got knives. And I've got chairs and she's got chairs. And I have a dining room table and she has a dining room table, and et cetera, all the way through all of the things that we had in our households. And people said, so where are you registered? And so we registered at a place, and then we started. Bronze, right? You're going to bring linen that's dyed in blue and crimson and purple, and dolphin skins and ram skins and acacia wood. It's the list of all the stuff that you need to build the Mishkan in the desert. And I want you to bring it as a gift of your heart. And then what happens? The people start bringing it. They bring all the gold and silver and copper. I said bronze before, I meant copper. The gold and silver and the copper that they brought out of Egypt. And they brought all the linen that they brought out of Egypt. And they brought all the blue and crimson and purple cloth that they brought out of Egypt. And they brought the acacia wood that they brought out of Egypt. All these things that were needed to build the Mishkan, to build the tent of meeting in the desert. They brought it. And then they brought more. And then they brought more. And then they brought more. And finally Moses said, stop. Don't bring any more. Because we have all that we need. In fact, we have more than what we need. Stop bringing the gifts. I want to see one little kid say, stop bringing me gifts. But Moses did. Stop bringing me gifts. Because they brought them from the heart. And it's an interesting thing that the rabbis discuss. Why did God say to have Moses say, bring gifts from the heart? And not just bring the gold and the silver and the copper and the linen and the animal skins and the acacia wood and all that. Just bring it. But Moses says, bring it from the heart. Why that little extra added piece? Because it's more meaningful when it comes from our heart as opposed to it's required. When we're required to do something, it doesn't feel so heartfelt to us. It doesn't feel so important. If we are not certain about that, just think about the parent who says to their kid, you will apologize to your brother now. As we all know, that apology is worthless. But when it comes from the heart, it's not. The idea of Moses telling us, bring these gifts from your heart, was actually an idea that we would learn today after we got rid of sacrifice. Even though Moses is talking about bringing gifts of the heart for sacrifice to build the place where we would sacrifice, there's a hidden message in there. Bring gifts from the heart. And the message is that once we got rid of sacrifice, we'll have to talk to God in a different way. We now do it through prayer. Talmud talks about a concept of tefillah bimkom korban. It means prayer in place of sacrifice. And we can pray in two ways. And Moses is telling us that there's a good reason to do both. We pray with keva and kavanah. Keva means fixed. It's the same word that we use in the prayer where we put a mezuzah up on our door and we hammer in the nail that holds it up there, or the glue that you're going to use, whatever you're going to do to put it up on your doorpost. And we say the prayer, Baruch atah, etc., likboa mezuzah. Likboa, the kuf and the bet ayin, and keva, kuf bet ayin. It's the same word. It means to fix or affix something. We have a fixed prayer. It's in this book. Over time, the rabbis have written these prayers, and we change them a little bit from time to time. But these are the words that we've been told to say. Little Johnny, go say, I'm sorry to your brother. We're supposed to say these words because they're in the book. But we're also supposed to pray with kavanah. Kavanah means intention or aiming. It's the verb that we use. Kivun is that it originates, the first use we know of it is in the Torah, or in the Tanakh. And it's the concept of aiming an arrow before you let go of the bow and let the arrow go flying. That you spy a spot with your eye, and then you aim it in that direction. The idea being that we aim our hearts in the direction of God. And so when Moses says, bring the gifts from your heart, Moses is telling us, bring the gifts, that's the keva. That's the fixed part. But don't do it because I told you, you bring the gold, you bring the silver, you bring the acacia wood, you bring the this. I'm going to tell each one of you what your assigned task is to bring. Moses just said to the entire people of Israel, here's the list of stuff we need. Whatever you've got that you want to give from your heart, bring it. And the end result was that they had enough of everything. It's not just that they had enough gold. It's not just that they had enough copper. It's not just that they had enough linen. It's not just that they had enough yarn and strings of the various colors. It's not just that they had each and every piece. They wound up with enough of everything. And the rabbi said that there were people who were coming to bring gold. And then they saw the pile of gold was so big that they didn't need gold anymore. So they went home and they set down their gold and they brought their acacia wood instead, because they saw that's what was needed. Because they were looking in their heart to give everything that would be needed. Moses was teaching us to pray with keva and with kavanah, to use the fixed words on the page, because then we can all say them together because we all have the same words on the same page. But at the same time, to look inside our hearts and say, what do these words mean? Often in religious schools, we spend a lot of time making sure that the kids can mimic all of the words on the proper pages that the rabbi or the education director or the temple president or somebody picked. Those are the prayers the kids should be able to pronounce really well. And then when we talk to the kids and we say, what do they mean? And the kids say, Jewish stuff? And then sometimes we talk to the adults in the room, perhaps on a Friday night, maybe in March, maybe at Temple Shalom in Colorado Springs, I don't know. And we all say these Hebrew words, and then we say, so everybody, what do they mean? And everybody says, Jewish stuff? It's why we put the words in English in the book as well. The Talmud has a very short list of prayers that you must say in Hebrew. And then a longer list of stuff that you could say in any other language. If you like to look it up, you can look it up in the Mishnah. It's Mishnah Sota, chapter 7, Mishnah 1 and 2. You can look it up later sometime. But how many prayers did we say tonight that must be said in Hebrew? According to the Talmud. I'll take numbers. Anybody want to guess? I'm taking numbers. What do I got? How many prayers did we say tonight, so far in this service, that the Talmud says must absolutely be said in Hebrew? Any guesses? Raise your hand if you got one. What do you got? One. Any other guesses? One. We have a collection of one. Anybody want to guess a different number than one? Two. One, I've got one and I've got two. Any other guesses? Any other guesses? The answer is, you guys just said the correct answer, 0. There are 0 prayers in the Shabbat service. 0. There are 0 prayers in the Shabbat service that the Talmud says must be said in Hebrew. So why do we say them in Hebrew? Because it's part of the concept of kavanah. Because there's something about the sound of the Hebrew. We're told that when God created the world, God spoke and said, according to the English versions I've seen, "Let there be light." I have news for the people who wrote those Bibles. Way back then, God didn't speak English. There was no English yet. So God never said, "Let there be light." The Torah says God said, "Yehi or." In English, it translates to, "There will be light." But the Torah tells us God said, and it said words in Hebrew, "Yehi or." God spoke Hebrew, the rabbis in the Talmud tell us, to create the world. Maybe not. I mean, it's one of the oldest languages in existence, so maybe it was something close to what we know as Hebrew. But there was something magical and mystical about those words that God spoke that created all of the universe as we know it. And so we learn from that there's something magical and mystical about the vibrations of the sound of the Hebrew. That even if we don't understand every word of it, there's still something mystical and magical about its sound. And there's something magical about the fact that you could walk into a synagogue tonight, anywhere in the world, and not speak the language of where you are. But you can speak the language of Judaism and pray with the Jews in the synagogue. I've been in synagogues all over the world. I've been fortunate enough to go. And I've been in synagogues where no one there spoke English. And I walked in and I said, "American, English, anybody?" No. But then when in some of them there were people who spoke enough Hebrew, and I spoke enough Hebrew that we could talk, but in some places, no. But then we opened up the Siddur. And what happened when we opened up the Siddur? We said the prayers of Kabbalat Shabbat, and we said the Baruch Hu, and we said the Shema, and we said the Amidah, and we all spoke the same language, even though we were from places all over the world. That's the kavanah. That's the pointing of our hearts when we think about the sound of the words. And the words themselves, that's the keva, the fixed part that holds it all together for us. In the Torah portion, Moses says, "Bring the gifts of your heart." He really wasn't talking to the Israelites about bringing all the stuff to build the temple. I mean, he was. But I think he was talking to us to say that when we pray, we should do so with the gifts of our hearts. We can use the words that are written down in the Siddur. Most importantly, when we pour our hearts and souls into it, and we engage in kavanah, of pointing our hearts in the right direction, then we're doing it properly. And we build our own mishkan, our own tent of meeting for our own community and in our own hearts. May we be gifted, may we be given the truma, the gift of knowing that we're building that mishkan in our hearts each and every time we pray. We're going to bring our service to a close with our final prayers. Page 586, we rise for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gdula li'otzeh b'reishit, shelo asanu kugoye ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam kelchinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, malchei hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Notei Shamayim ve'yoser ha'aretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, u'shchinatu zo, v'govhei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu efes ulato, kaka'atu b'tora'ato, yadata hayom b'shivota elevavecha, ki Adonai hua Elohim, b'shamayim mima'al, ve'al ha'aretz, mitachat ein od, page 590. Ki ha'malchut shelcha hi omet yimloch b'chavod, kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar, v'ya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz, v'yom ha'hu, ye Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, u'shemo echad. We can all be seated. In our yard sites this week, we recall the memories of David Podbros, Sarah Diamond, Sidney Rosenfeld, Isidore Weir, Lillian Pfeffer, Tim Burke, Alta Mae Rosenthal, Simon Maxwell, David Charles, Sadie Kushner, Goldie Listener, Matthew Neufeld, Zygmunt Davis, Gretchen Stevenson, Hannah Shamosh, Marcel Lieberman, and Peter Severson. We also mark the recent death of Gail Skorenke. Are there any other yard sites that anyone is observing? Thank you. Any others? Yehiyu zichronam levracha, may their memories be an eternal blessing. We ask mourners to rise and those whose custom it is to stand with them. As we turn to page 598 in our Siddur, and in their memory we sanctify God's name. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala uzman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, t'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, uyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. We can all be seated. Maggie, do you have announcements? Maggie's got announcements.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. It's good to see everybody come out, even though it was really, really cold when we came in. If you're new or visiting, please reach out, because I'd love the opportunity to make you feel ridiculously uncomfortable by being ridiculously happy to see you. Thank you, Rabbi Jay, for leading us this evening, and for all of us for showing up, because that is part of our building our community, is being here and being present on this lovely Friday. Announcements. So we still have an increased security expense. If you feel the need or the urge to donate, please do so at templeshalom.com. And we have quite the list of activities coming up. So this Sunday, we spring forward, which is unpleasant, but it's happening. So just remember when you set your alarms that the time will be changing this Sunday. March 17th, which is next Sunday, we have the deadline for the PTO Mishloach Manot fundraiser. We also have the Men's and Women's Club latest event, which will be davening at 9, breakfast at 9:30. It's termed the Israel Experience with Alan Davidson and our own Judy Oppenheim and Ivan Zador, presenting about their experience in Israel, providing support and assistance in Israel following the Hamas attack on October 7th. Renee Rockford, President and CEO of Jewish Colorado, will be on hand as well to provide some background on the missions and Jewish Colorado itself. Please register at templeshalom.com if you are interested in attending. We also have March 22nd at 5:30 is our fourth Friday Shabbat, is also known as the Beatles Shabbat. If you have not been, please come, it's amazing. And please register in advance because there tends to be a little bit of a party during the Oneg, so we definitely need to know how many people are coming. Saturday, March 23rd at 6 p.m. is the Purim celebration and pasta bar dinner, Megillah reading, and Havdalah. As you can imagine, that's quite a bit of stuff happening. Starts at 6 p.m. Register at templeshalom.com. Start choosing costumes. Do not leave this until the last minute. It's far too crucial. Okay? Show up. Go big. Come and see everybody else. Get ideas for next year. Planning is crucial. And even though the lunch club is hiatus, of course, they're still meeting noon to 1:30, and it's by BYO everything. If you know any temple members who are ill, hospitalized, suffering a loss, please contact the temple office. We do enjoy the opportunity that you give us by doing so to reach out and just build our community a little bit more when people are in need. And thank you to the wonderful ladies in the back, Carolyn Fox, Judy Karnick, and Trudy Wells, for providing the Oneg. I know they worked really, really hard, and they took time out of their day, so I greatly wanted to extend our thanks to them this evening. And thank you so much for joining us this evening, and Shabbat Shalom.
There we go. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. A couple other things you should know. This was not in the announcements that were handed to Maggie, because this was just decided hours ago. But on the second night of Pesach, there will, for the first time in several years, be a second night Pesach Seder here at Temple Shalom. Details to be announced because it was just decided literally hours ago that we're going to have a second night Seder. So we're very excited about that. We are looking for people who want to be part of that community, and also people who might want to join in on some of the cooking and some of the table setting and all of that. So if you're interested, there will be some sign-up stuff online for you to sign up for that in the near future, probably next week. Additionally, if you show up here next Friday night for Shabbat services, there's a special guest musician who's going to be joining me for a few prayers on the bima. I'm not paying his airfare. My brother's paying his own airfare. So if you want to, some of the music that I've written that has some harmonica in it, my brother's going to be joining us next Friday night, so you can hear a little the harmonica parts of some of the prayers that we sometimes say here. And additionally, on this upcoming Sunday, even though we don't have anyone in the room who's here, but for anyone who might be watching online, there is no teen scene after religious school on this upcoming Sunday, because the teacher of teen scene is on vacation during Sunday. So all of that. Please check the newsletter and the online calendar and all of that for things that are coming up at Temple Shalom. Please turn to page 65. We'll close our service with Adon Olam, and then we'll make a little Kiddush and Motzi. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'et nasa b'chefza kol azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol Levado yimloch nohora, Vehu haya, vehu hoveh, Vehu yiyeh, B'tifara, Vehu echad, Ve'ein sheni, Lehamshilo, Lehachbira, V'li reshit, V'li tachlit, V'lo ha'oz, V'ha'misra, Vehu edi, V'chai goali, V'tzur chevli, Be'et sahara, Vehu nisi umanosli, Menat kosi, Beyom ekra, Beyado, Avkid ruchi, Be'et ishan, Ve'aira, Ve'im ruchi, Geviati, Adonai li, Ve'lo ira. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Please join us for Kiddush and Motzi in the back of the room. For those of you online with us, Shabbat shalom to all of you as well.